Hey guys, subscribe for daily content, and if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks! What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another short, little unboxing video to share with you guys. I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's actually been a little bit my time since I've unboxed a Miguron knife. Probably have broken these up enough on my content that it seems pretty regular. But since everything's pre-recorded, sometimes I go really long stretches without unboxing certain brands. And as often as I show Miguron knives, it feels like it's been a bit. But I definitely do enjoy them. If you're not familiar with Miguron knives, they make some of the very best budget knives on earth. And they make some nice premium stuff as well. Thanks to Miguron for sending this in. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex and on TikTok at _metal_complex. As is the case with all unboxing videos on my channel, I don't actually know 100% what this is yet. This is just a first impressions video. I kind of like to do these, and then after I've spent time with the product for a while, then I do the review. And it's always fun to do the initial unboxing and just give my initial thoughts and let people know that they're available, right? So what we have here is definitely something spicy. Sorry, they never put the full name. It's just called the Dro something pocket knife. I have no idea. It'll be linked in the description. Yeah, I feel like have I reviewed maybe the budget version of this? Okay. Yeah, so this, as far as the Damascus, like, you know, the non-metal Damascus products goes, right? I'm sorry, the way that I said that was absolutely terrible. The words that came out of my mouth. As far as Damascus-like materials go, right? I know I'm not saying woots, please. I'm just saying, for the lack of, just because I don't want to have to like go through the entire history of it, like layered materials, right? The non-steel Damascus. These carbon fiber and copper Damascus products are actually really, really nice. This and the aluminum, I think, look the best. Not a big fan of the colors. Sometimes periodically blue, right? Sometimes bronze. Not a big fan of the red or anything like that. But when you use aluminum and copper, the color, I think maybe just the reflectivity looks a little bit better. This bolster area, it's not actually a bolster, it's actually part of the frame. It's pretty interesting. This goes around, I think the entire thing is contoured, yeah. So this wave sort of comes over here and then slowly wraps around the back side, or just visually it looks like that. Really cool. Giving it a very 3D appearance. Actually, if you hold it back from the camera a bit, it looks much more rounded off than it actually is. But it definitely is contoured. Okay, we have probably, this looks to be like their gray PVD, which is really cool. This is M390. The gray PVD actually gives this a really, really nice look. But oh boy, the action on that is really nice. Wow, yeah. Boy, that's a strong detent. Holy moly. You can get it, but it's strong. It's a good thing you have access to that. There's most of this is accessible. Only a little bit's hidden underneath the scale. Miguron, I think that it's a little bit awkward. This color in contrast with this color is a little bit strange. I think that if you're going to do blue pivot colors, you should offer it as an option. Some of these materials, you should just do a plain silver pivot color, or match it with like a copper pivot color, right? Because see, on this side, this looks great. If we imagine this circle around the M is the pivot color, I think it matches the front side better. The blue seems a little bit out of place to me, but I suppose that's pretty subjective. The detent is a bit strong for this opening hole here, but it is absolutely perfect for the flipper, and I mean perfect. Wow, that's beautiful. Using your thumb to flick it out is actually pretty easy. I think I actually prefer that to the reverse flick. No double clutch, you can see, drops right before the detent ball makes it up on the face of the blade, so that's good. Ergonomically, very comfortable. Pocket clip is probably a little bit long, but that's okay, right? It's got a ramp. It's probably a long ramp, right? A little bit long for my taste, but it's all right. Most of the frame sunk underneath that scale. That's cool. I'm really glad that they decided to texture it on both sides and texture it through to the lock bar. I think that's a really nice touch. Stop pin right here, obviously running on bearings. Let's see. Backspacer is raised a bit above the frame, which is kind of nice, right? Simple backspacer, but it looks good. No lanyard hole, not needed. Perfect centering. Really nice. Let's go ahead and measure it here real quick, and then we'll do some size comparisons. Can't measure it because I still have that measuring tape upstairs. So let's do some size comparisons against knives that are of similar size, and we can probably come up with the overall length there. Yeah, it is extremely similar in the handle profile, especially to the Ritter Hogue. It just has a little bit, it's got a different shape back end, you know. This area up here, much more, I think, accommodating for the index finger. This area right here is, I mean, it's just really, really open. So, yeah, it actually feels really good. But so does the Ritter Hogue. That one's more fitted specifically to your index finger. This one just allows you to move around just a little bit more. But that dividing peak is not quite where I want to put my finger up here. But you can, and it's not bad. It doesn't, I mean, it doesn't feel bad at all, actually. Man, that thwack. So the only downside to having a PVD coated blade is that it lowers the Rockwell hardness by a whole point. Now, I think Miguron has bumped their hardness up, so maybe it's bringing it back to 5961. If they can get all of their M390 or all of, I mean, like, not all of them. I don't want to make it sound like all blade steel compositions need to be at 60 or higher, because it's not true. It depends on the composition, the optimal hardness, right? But in terms of M390, personally, I would prefer that the industry standard was 60 to 62 across the board. Obviously, a lot of that depends on the geometry, and a lot of companies are making kind of humorous geometries, and so the blade steel and the hardness matter a little bit less. But let's put that aside for a second, because this is a good geometry. It's a good cutting geometry. So if we're going to have M390, right, we'd want that properly heat treated to accentuate that geometry. And when we PVD coat it, which is definitely increases corrosion resistance, and in this case looks really cool. Like the gray PVD looks really, really nice. If it does bring it back a point, I would hope that it didn't bring it any lower than 59 to 61. But I don't know, because I'm not looking at the website. So by the time you guys are watching this, though, I will have looked, but I'll still have it linked down there for you guys to check out. So Ritter Hogue, and let's do the Ontario Rat Model 1. There we go. A lot of people think I should retire this. And I'll tell you why I'm not gonna. It's because literally everybody owns this knife. Like, everyone owns the Rat 1 or the Rat 2, right? A lot of people want me to do size comparisons up against really specific knives or knives in the same brand family. And I always tell people that's useless, because not everybody, like the vast majority of people, don't own those. So if you do a size comparison, you should do it with something that a lot of people own, right? Not everybody, but enough different size comparisons up against knives that are common enough or familiar enough that you can get a good gauge for how it's going to look, right? How it's going to feel in hand. But that's all you can do, since you can't reach out and touch it. So there it is up against the Deca and the Benchmade Bug Out. Did we put it up against the Rat 1? There it is up against the Rat 1. Anyways, I think that's it. I don't think we need to go any further. I don't believe I've reviewed this model before. If I have, I think it was probably the budget variant. This is probably right around a $200 knife. But the nice thing is, if you like the look of something that's, you know, Miguron's making, and it's like, you know, in the $200 territory, they likely make the exact same knife with different materials. So probably like micarta or G10 with steel liners and 14 C28N instead of M390. And it'll be right around 50 to 60 bucks. So if you're new to knives, I have reviewed a lot of knives. That is an understatement. If you go and look, you'll understand what I mean. I've experienced things in a lot of different price points. A lot of people think I exclusively review multi-$1,000 knives. A lot of people think I exclusively review budget knives. That should give you an idea of how much content I have. People have watched so much of the same content, they don't even know that I cover different categories and different price points. So my point is, compared to a lot of the stuff that I have reviewed, in fact, most of the stuff I have reviewed, I can say confidently, Miguron is making some of the very best budget knives, dollar for dollar, on earth. Their premium stuff is very, very good, but it's not quite the same, you know, in terms of competitive stuff. But this is great. This feels really cool. That's going to be it for the unboxing and first impressions. If I haven't reviewed this, I will do a full comprehensive review, but that's going to be it for today. Links for that guy down in the description, as well as just Miguron knives in general. If you're new, definitely check them out. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex and on TikTok at _metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like, so check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.